Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are working on a 2013 Ford F-150 with the 5.0 Coyote motor, 4x4 STX model. We are changing the spark plugs in this vehicle. I've already did the passenger side. I didn't really think about making a video on it until now. So we are going to go ahead and do the rest of the driver's side. And as you can tell, these spark plugs that were in this thing were Motorcraft. They were pretty rusted and they were really dark brownish, like it was time to be changed. And I'm kind of glad I took the spark plugs out because they were really over tightened. Like they've been in there for a long time. This truck has more than 165,000 miles. And the spark plugs we're putting in it, this brand here, I know the Motorcraft brands are usually the best to put in these vehicles, but these also have a 5-star rating for these trucks with no problems. I bought stuff in this brand before, like water pumps, spark plugs, and I've never had any issues. Hub assemblies, disc brakes. So we're gonna look at the spark plugs and we're gonna show you what these look like. I was going to get the Motorcraft brand from Amazon, but the price kept changing up and down continuously, so I didn't want to get it because I thought that the seller was very, was in a hurry to sell them. Couldn't keep a normal price. So this is the part number that I'm using on these. This is SP95853. These are the same size spark plugs that came out of this vehicle. They were $26.99 for all 8, and these are the coil packs that came out of the driver's side. They look perfectly great. Hold on. They're in perfectly great shape. You can tell they're kind of old, but the seals are really good. Just a little bit of dirt and debris on the top. I mean, they're not broken. These things look like they're new, but I don't think they are by looking at the top of it, but that could just be dirt and debris. But luckily there was no oil on any of the spark plugs. There was no pieces that broke. Everything came out smoothly, and inside where the spark plugs go, you can see they are perfectly clean. So right now I'm going to go ahead and shove this spark plug in there. I got one. Sorry, I have to open them all up. Okay, there's 2. All right, hold on. And there's 3. And last but not least, for these, and this one in the back is a really pain to get to. And always be aware that these things do have these little red security tips. They do tend to break, and they have to pop more than halfway out to be able to disconnect the harness. Now, this is my first time replacing the spark plugs on this truck, so I wasn't really sure on why these things wouldn't let loose at first, and I found the easier method that you can actually pull out the whole entire coil pack and let it sit, and it's easier to disconnect the harness. I didn't think the harness was going to let me do that because of how short it was, but I was able to pull it a little bit to get a little more leverage, and it came out perfectly fine. I did it the hard way on the other side. So the size that you need to take off these little bolts here to hold the coil packs in place, I am using a 8mm socket. Deep socket's not required for that. I'm also using a magnet to pull them out just in case they don't come out with the socket. I am using a 5/8 power torque spark plug removal. Works perfectly with this vehicle. You can tell it's a really small one. And it comes out like butter. The one on the back was super tight than the other ones. I don't know why, but by looking at the amount of rust that was on them, it didn't look like it was very pretty. So let's see what I can do here. Give me 1 second. Actually, yeah, okay. I had to get the other tool. And I just had it. Hold on 1 second. Freaking chair is like... Oh boy. All right. So, I guess it's been a long day. I already have it in there. I'm sitting here looking for the... the socket, and I was like, well, where is it? Maybe I lost it again. But no, it's actually right there. I'm using a swivel only because I have to get back there with it, and it's a little difficult with that type of ratchet to get in there. These are actually pretty easy. You just keep turning it until it doesn't turn anymore. Do not overstrip these, because if you do that, you will break your spark plug. Then you'll be going up buying another one and putting the old one back in. It's never bad. It's never good to use mismatching spark plugs, only because you'll know you'll get the right amount of spark out of them. Because I've seen people use like a Motorcraft, let's make an example, mixed up with an NGK, or an Autolite mixed up with a Valcraft, and I'm like, why do y'all do that? And they're like, well, it doesn't make any difference in your spark. I haven't really seen any issues, but I always think that it's not a good idea to use mismatch spark plugs. And I do not recommend using an impact gun on spark plugs. Do not do that, because there is a possible chance, if you do that, you're gonna have problems, because impact guns got a lot more power. Did I seriously just like... I forgot to take the thing. Jesus. Give me 1 minute. I forgot to take the... Don't ever do that. Don't do what I just did, people. Do not... Make sure you take the paper off of the spark plug, because if you don't, it ain't gonna go in. And I just now realized I didn't take it off. I thought I did. Now I know why. I have never did that in my life. Now the coil packs, they came out very nicely, so I didn't have any problems with them breaking, and that's what I was worried about, because the person who owned this before said she never really did any work to it at all. So when I looked at the spark plugs, they were Motorcraft, and people think that because it's the original brand that's recommended for the vehicle that Ford puts in these things, because it says Motorcraft doesn't mean it's never been replaced. People say, oh, it's the original because it's the original one, it's never been changed. No, that's not true. Anybody can change and use the same spark plugs, and people can still say, oh, it's the original. Yeah, they might be the original spark plugs, but no, not the original ones that were in the vehicle from the day it came off the lot. My truck is a little difficult because you have to stand on this bar up here just to get around here. So I got me on my one of my chairs from outside. I wanted to go stand in it because I thought it was just a hell of a lot easier to do it that way. See, now I can't turn it no more. So that is actually super tight. See, this is why I couldn't use the longer extension, because it wouldn't bypass the firewall, and I'd just be playing with it and wasting more time trying to fight it when there's no reason to fight. If the security, if this little red security tabs, if they don't if they break or you lose them, it's fine. As long as you hear a clicking sound when you push them onto the actual plugs, you'll be okay. All right, those are tight. We are done with that. So these are in order, so I know they go in the right holes. People say it doesn't matter, but to me it does, because you don't want to take the chance and ruin them. Now these here, gotta put pressure on them. Hold on. This one requires pressure. Damn, this one doesn't want to. Damn. Yeah, this one doesn't want to click back in. I got the other side to do it, but I had to put. Hopefully, when I get it on there, it'll let me do it. All right, well, for right now, we're gonna leave it like that. Hopefully. We're just gonna leave it like that for right now so I can get them all in, and hopefully everything will seat properly. It's gonna take 2 hands to get this done anyway. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. But this wire is also in my damn way too. It doesn't help the process. Sometimes using these security tabs would also help too. And they broke. Damn security tabs. Okay, well. I hate when they come out, because then they don't want to go back in. You do that. And put the last but not least, put the last one in. I start from the front, work my way to the back. That's just what I do. This one's gonna be a lot harder to see. That one clicked. You heard the click. I'm hoping. Damn, some of these just don't want to click. Alright, well, those are in. And all you do is you take these bolts, the 8mm, you put them back. It don't matter which hole they go in because they're all the same bolts. Do not use an impact gun. I twist them on so you can't twist tie them anymore. Tighten them. Because then you know you ain't got to like use the ratchet so much or it ain't going to tighten anyway. Don't ask what this yellow wire is. I don't know. I guess whoever had the car had something run into it or something. God knows what it is. I haven't really looked that far into it yet. You can take a wire brush to your bolts and clean the heads on them. but I would put some grease on them if yours are stripped or almost stripped. If they're really tight, put some axle grease or something on them, like Master Pro, and it will solve your issue. So when you have to take it apart again, you ain't gotta worry about everything. Okay, there's that. Now let me go show y'all the other side. Alright, this is the other side. This side clipped in fine. As you know, there's some missing pieces that actually broke, which is the clips, which that's fine as long as these can clip in the harness, you're good. You should get your full power from them. And be sure your bolts are in. If you have any dirt in there, take an air compressor and spray all that dirt out of there. Now, since I missed the trash can, here's the old spark plug. This was a Motorcraft brand, as you can see. And that's what it looks like. They're pretty rusty in a way, and it looks like it's just due for a change. You know, you might not be able to see it with the focus, but I think it's time for a change. So, I hope that video helps on how to change spark plugs in a 2013 Ford F-150 STX 4x4 with a 5.0 Coyote motor. If y'all have any questions, feel free to comment at any time. And oh yeah, always be sure, before you start driving your vehicle, once you get everything installed correctly, please be sure you crank it, let it run, test drive it a little bit, make sure it runs right. If it doesn't crank up right when you start it, you either have a spark plug that's not tight all the way, or your coil packs are not tightened down all the way by using your bolts. So make sure your bolts are tight, make sure your coil packs are pushed all the way in, but them screws will do most of the work for you. And also be sure that your harnesses are clipped in and seated correctly, so we don't have no ignition problems. Also, please be aware that when you put brand new spark plugs in and if you use your original coil packs, there is a possible chance that your coil packs can end up going bad afterwards, and that's usually how it works. So just keep an eye on your coil packs. Every time I change my spark plugs, not the coil packs at the same time, they usually end up having a problem. They start shortening out. All right, y'all have a great evening, and hope this video helps, and have a great one.